You talking to me? You talking to me? You talking to me? Well, then who the hell else are you talking? You talking to me? Well, I'm the only one here.
By the river, Rio Bravo.
Quentin's life experience is cinema. I mean, he lives, breathes, eats, sleeps cinema, so it's natural that he makes films about cinema, you know. And so that's his thing. I mean, that is Quentin Tarantino's style.
I think he's been, for years, building up this huge, this momentum inside of himself, all these things he's always wanted to say. And he has such energy and conviction that he's now rolling. It's like this spring that had been tightened up for years and years, and he was writing these things and fantasizing, watching movies and writing, and the spring is getting tighter and tighter, and then it starts with the rest, and it's just, whoa, it's going.
He's sort of one of those examples of someone who, in another era, would have been considered hopelessly square or gawky or awkward and so on, who is just absolutely as hip as you can get right now. Every film that he makes now will be eagerly anticipated, and from one film to the next, to be able to vault from kind of cult hit with Reservoir Dogs to, you know, Palme d'Or winner in Cannes with Pulp Fiction was quite exceptional.
You know what they call a quarter pounder with cheese in Paris?
They don't call it a quarter pounder with cheese?
Oh, man, they got the metric system. They wouldn't know what the fuck a quarter pounder is.
And what do they call it?
They call it Royale with cheese.
Royale with cheese.
That's right.
What do they call a Big Mac?
Big Mac's a Big Mac, but they call it Le Big Mac.
Le Big Mac.
When people see killers for hire, you tend to think that they sit at home and they clean their guns, they sharpen their knives, they polish their bullets and do all these other things. But Quentin takes you into the world where you actually find out that they gossip. They talk about, you know, their lives outside of what they do. He has a facility for creating everyday language and sensibilities in his characters.
You know what they call a quarter pounder with cheese in France?
No.
Tell him, Vincent.
Royale with cheese.
Royale with cheese. You know why they call it that?
Because of the metric system?
Check out the big brain on bread.
He really does work, again, with archetypes, you know, and mixes them up a bit. And certain things, you know, that he borrows from different, you know, pop culture and stuff, TV. TV should never be ignored in Quentin's whole scheme of things.
You know, she looked like Christy Love. Remember that TV show, Christy Love, about the black female cop? She always used to say,
"You're under arrest, sugar." What's the name of the chick who played Christy Love?
Pam Grier.
No, it wasn't Pam Grier. Pam Grier was the other one. Pam Grier did the film. Christy Love was like a Pam Grier TV show without Pam Grier.
So who was Christy Love?
What the fuck should I know?
Great, now I'm totally fucking tortured.
He's working in genre, but I think the films are very personal.
to him. And I could see it. I mean, when I saw Pulp Fiction with a little boy just watching the TV, kind of being alone in this big room, and the TV being his friend, and to me, that's Quentin.
It's hard to go back to the very, 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 very beginning, because I always remember loving movies, and that was always like the one thing that I loved more than anything else. You know, it was just, I mean, it was just, you know, the thing that I enjoyed more. Some kids enjoy sports more, some kids enjoy this or that more. I always was into film. I loved horror films. I was really into like the Universal horror film, you know, Frankenstein, The Wolfman, and everything like that. And then also comedies. And Abbott and Costello was my favorite at the time. And I mean, my first actually kind of like understanding, or I guess where I made genre distinctions in film, was Abbott and Costello Meet Frankenstein. Because when I was a little kid, that was my favorite movie of all time. In fact, if you look at Abbott and Costello Meet Frankenstein now, I mean, it's not like the way they do comedy horror films now. I mean, the Frankenstein monster kills people. He picks that nurse up and throws her through the window, you know, and she's dead. Hurry up. I remember thinking, wow, these are the greatest movies ever, because the scary parts are scary and the funny parts are really funny. Two great tastes that taste great together, you know?
It wasn't like he had some advantage, or he wasn't from some place of entitlement. He didn't know people in the business. He didn't even finish high school.
Yeah, I quit school when I was 15 or 16. I always wanted to be an actor at that time. So that was the whole, you know, that was the whole game plan, was to be an actor, you know. And when I quit school, I studied with the actor James Best, who was the star of Sam Foley Verboten and Shock Corridor, and he was, at the time, was the sheriff on the TV show Dukes of Hazzard. Actually, I have a, where is it here? This is my acting teacher. Roscoe P. Coltrane. Part of the thing that Jimmy taught in his class is he taught camera technique. He taught you how to act for the camera. It wasn't about stage, and it wasn't about just acting per se, all right? Because his whole idea was, you're in Los Angeles, you're an actor, the way you're going to make your living is, you know, 1 or 2, 3 lines on Quincy, or 1 or 2, 3 lines on the Dukes of Hazzard, or whatever, you know. That, I mean, that, you're in Los Angeles, that's what you're doing.
In this scene, you're both in a car, and Bill Shatner is hanging on the hood. What you want to do is get him off.
All right, I'm Morty.
Ready?
Yeah. Okay. I'm driving. Okay. Where the fuck did he come from?
I don't know. He just appeared like magic.
Well, don't just sit there. Shoot him. Get him.
Thank you, Mr. Ritchie. I'm very impressed. You're a very fine actor.
I was living in the South Bay, and this fellow named Lance Lawson had just opened up this video store called Video Archives. And it really was a movie lover's heaven. It was really terrific. I was a customer there, and I really liked it. And eventually he asked me if I wanted a job. And I was like, yeah, I'd love a job here. This would be a dream. And it was. It was, until I became a director, it was the best job I'd ever had. And I ended up working there for like 5 years. Well, this is where the world-famous Video Archives was. And this is where it is now. So why don't we go inside and take a look.